Hi there, it's Dan here from Flexible, and today we're going to talk about how WhatsApp and AI did 5,676 appointments in a single month. Let's dive in. Okay, I've just finished the best webinar I've done in a very long time, maybe ever, with a guy called Wardrope, and he showed me and about 450 other people how he's generated a real load of appointments for a client using AI and WhatsApp. Okay, it's incredible the way that he's done this. For those of you who, and this is the first time you've seen me, we have I call it the offer of the century, right? And what we do is we reach out to clients and ask if they've got any old leads, which we can turn into sales using SMS and AI, and we do that on a performance basis, which means we don't get paid unless they get paid, right? So it's a very good offer. I call it the offer of the century. He's figured out how to do this with WhatsApp because there's a lot of, well, first of all, WhatsApp's cheaper. And also for those of you who are in some of the European countries, it's hard to get A2P for phone numbers for SMSing, right? So this is just a huge webinar. So I was really excited. He's just absolutely crushing it. Before I pass you over to the recording, Seb's actually put some training together to show people exactly how he's done this step by step for WhatsApp. And also you'll notice in the recording as well, we do what's called document collection, which is just this other huge opportunity for industries like mortgage or solar or anywhere where documents are collected by humans, right? That is now replaced by AI. It's just awesome. But this training, we have what we call a pay what you want offer for the training, okay? And in the description below, there'll be details on how you can pick up the training to be able to do this, and it's a pay what you want offer, okay? So without further ado, please enjoy the recording and I'll speak to you soon. This is a big webinar today. We've got, this is probably our no pressure, Seb, but this is probably our most popular webinar of all time. I don't know what you've done.
Wow.
Or why. I don't know, maybe it's just good timing, I'm not sure, but I think a lot of people in my community have been so pissed off with like being in different countries, trying to get the A2P sorted, and just not having it, like just not being an option in some countries. So like people have been crying out for how to scale on WhatsApp, right? And no one's really been able to kind of master it. And then you messaged me the other day and said that there's like, you're doing 10,000 a day or have the ability to do 10,000 a day. I think you're doing about half that without accounts going down. And I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this stuff. So
it's all in the warm up, but yeah, we'll get our teeth into it. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's a big calling, and a lot of people need it. So I hope I can help as much as I can, and I'm sure a few people will learn a few things today. I'm sure.
Definitely. All right. Well, it's 2:00 over here in the UK, so let's get started. All right. So today's webinar is on document collection and WhatsApp AI. I'm Dan, and you've already met Seb. Seb, again, thanks for doing this, mate. I really appreciate it. You've been in my Roy group probably how many months now?
18 months, probably.
18 months. And you're one of my tech terminators. You're in there helping all the time. Like, I don't know what goes on with DMs and all that, but I'm sure you're just as helpful with DMs and your time as you are out in public inside that group. And I'm just really grateful to have you, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries, man. I love the tech, so it doesn't feel like work. It's just like a nice conversation. I love it.
That's always good, right? When we're able to do something we love that doesn't feel like work. And that's how I feel every single morning when I get up, you know, like we are very lucky. We are very lucky.
Yeah. No, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
All right, cool. So, you know, before we get stuck into this, right? Like we've got everyone on the chat group, right? So tell me, what is the offer of the century, guys? Like before we get into what we do later, like with the doc collection and WhatsApp, let's start with the fundamentals of what our offer is. Okay. Someone explain to me what it is, what we say to clients. You know, what is our pitch? What is our elevator pitch to clients? You've heard me say it like hundreds of times. Kind of comes pretty easy now. Can anyone tell me what it is? Do you have any old leads? DNA says got it, which we can turn into sales using AI and SMS on a performance basis, which means that we don't get paid until you get paid. DNA, so spot on, my man. Like when you get that to roll off the tongue like that, and we're able to clearly state what we do to clients, They just don't say no to this offer. I just got a DM the other day. Someone came into, it wasn't even Roya, it was the free group, 27 coffee dates, 22 contracts signed, 5 clients rejected because she didn't want to work with them. So a 100% conversion rate with this offer. So it converts super well, and it's our foot in the door, okay? It's our foot in the door. And what happens, you know, when we have an offer like this that we believe in and we have confidence in, right? Like some of you haven't seen what happens once you deliver the results for clients and once you get it going, but Seb will be able to vouch for me as well, right? Like you have to, like, I'm wanting some of the confidence that Seb and I have to rub off on you on this call, right? Because if you get, like, you think getting on coffee dates is easy, right? When you get the right data, what you'll experience is even easier and better than getting on coffee dates, which is getting results for clients. So I'm really wanting to have some of this confidence rub off on you, so you do jump out of the airplane and build the parachute on the way down, right? And Seb, you're a testament to this as well. Everyone that comes into my community, everyone that buys my stuff or gets involved, I'm always, and this is just my instinct as well as an entrepreneur, is that like someone shows me an offer to run with or something to do or a bit of creativity, and I jump out of that airplane and build the parachute on the way down, right? And the people that do the best that I see are the ones that have this same ethos, right? Because we're entrepreneurs, right? Like we have to be creative. We have to move fast, especially in this world, right? So if you're someone that comes in, does my Prince Charming challenge and messes around for 3 weeks getting your website right before you jump on a coffee date with anyone, I don't like your chances in this world, okay? I have to be brutally honest, right? We're at a really special time here in history as entrepreneurs, and we have a big opportunity. So please, if you can take something away from the webinar, it is really just to jump out of that aeroplane and build the parachute on the way down. And Seb, you've done that too, right?
Exactly that. I think that's a massive thing is, you know, just keep doing it, keep going on coffee dates because you just get better and better. And because the offer's so good, you almost have the luxury of sort of cherry picking clients for this. So when you actually go into the due diligence side, you can actually build a really strong case and make a really good client, a good amount of money. So yeah, by all means, just keep going, repetition, and you learn and learn and learn, and it just makes you better and better.
Doesn't matter if you mess up, right? There's like so many people, other clients and opportunities in front of you as well, right? So does anyone know what this picture, people around have followed me for a while knows what this, is there an echo? Is someone else hearing an echo? Sounds fine for me.
I can't hear an echo. It might be me, but I can't hear.
My sound is breaking up a lot. Is everyone okay?
I can hear you okay, but
you can hear me okay? All right, hopefully it might be, it's not breaking up, we're all good. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay. What happens after we get a client's database, we run a test for them and we make some sales for them or get some appointments for them with our offer of the century, right? Like what am I trying to teach you guys to do? Let me know what it is. We get our claws in, right? We want to get our claws into the business, okay? Because the offer of the century is the foot in the door offer, right? Because we're promising client sales from their waste, from their old leads, right? Like that's our offer to them, and they don't say no to that. Clients don't want, like, Mr. Client, would you like some document collection for your business, right? Like, or do you want us to install WhatsApp into your business? Like, yeah, it's valuable to them and they like it, right? But it's not as good as saying, can we make some sales for me from your waste, right? It's just a way better offer, right? So when we're able to get our foot in the door with that offer, then we can start getting our claws in, which is exactly what Seb's doing now, right? I'm sure Seb's clients have been using WhatsApp, and I'm sure Seb's clients have been using humans for document collection, right? But once he did the initial offer with the database reactivation, with AI and SMS, he was then able to make other offers to his clients, and now he's deeply, deeply embedded into his client's business. In fact, I believe the one client in that we were speaking about earlier has signed you to a 1-year retainer contract because they do not want you to go anywhere else. Exclusivity, right?
Yeah, exactly that.
This is the stuff that starts happening once you have these tools in your toolkit, right? But it all starts with the offer of the century, right? And I just see so many people having so much success with it, right? And then we get our claws in afterwards. Okay. Like literally half an hour before this webinar, I typed into Google, how many businesses are there in this on the planet? And I wasn't expecting an answer, to be honest with you, but they came back, Google came back, might have been AI, and said there's 359 million businesses globally as of 2024, with, yeah, no surprising, new companies being formed every year. So there's a hell of a lot more companies and businesses out there than, you know, marketing entrepreneurs like me, you, and Seb. Okay, so it's a really big opportunity because I also have a saying that every business on the planet knows they need AI. They just don't know what they need it for or how to implement it. Okay, it's really important to understand that everyone knows about ChatGPT and OpenAI and where the world's heading, but they have no fucking idea on what to do. They have no idea. And that's where we come in, right? So does anyone know who this guy is on the right? You basketball.
Oh,
I bet you. Oh, Seb, you know.
I'm a basketball fan, mate.
A
Yeah.
British guy that knows about basketball. Unbelievable.
That's a big fan.
You're a big fan. Are you a baller?
I play socially, but yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, it's a shame nowadays that it's on so late because I never get to watch it. But yeah, on a Sunday sometimes you get an early game. It's good. But yeah,
I knew you were cooler than the average. All right, Kyrie Irving. Right, what Kyrie Irving? I love Dallas as well. I love Luka, but what's Kyrie? What's his trademark apart from having his handles, his best handles? What is he? He's a point guard, but he is the fastest little dude like ever. Once he gets the ball in his hand, exactly. Jason just explained it there, right? He turns on a dime, right? He can move from one direction to another like that. He's so fast. He's such a fantastic player. I love watching him. He's so talented, right? And that's what I'm trying to drum home to you lot today, right? Is that it's all about being able to turn on a dime. Okay. So I just read some notes here. I'm not very good at reciting this stuff, right? But I was just doing some thinking before this webinar, right? So in my opinion, I think it's going to be, and this is like me predicting into the future, right? But it kind of makes sense. I think it's going to be the small people, the small side hustle guys, the one-man agencies, the ones that can move quickly, that can turn on a dime, are going to be the ones that do well in this industry, right? And do well as entrepreneurs moving forward, okay? And the reason that is, in my opinion, is that, you know, the Salesforces, the Pardos, the HubSpots, and all of these humongous CRMs, right, that have all of these clients. Do you think they're going to have a chance to be able to go to, you know, a roofing client in north of England and know how and be able to optimize and get their claws in with that roofer, right? They're going to need, it's bespoke, right? Like every business on the planet is kind of, they have their own intricacies and they have their own systems and their own way of running, right? So it's going to be very, very hard for the big boys to come in and implement a solution that's going to really help that business. Right? That might help them a little bit. They might have some off-the-shelf solutions, but the real win is going to be, in my opinion, small guys that can come in and offer the bespoke service that's tailored to that individual business, right? And the other thing that excites me as well is that, you know, you probably see, like, let's use document collection for an example, right? I'm sure there's a document collection company out there that's probably got a lot of private equity money behind it, right? And up until, recently, they would have to hire all of these web devs, and they would have to build this business over a number of years to have a product which they can sell, which can do document collection, right, really well. Okay, so there's kind of third-party companies that used to pop up, which used to dominate. But us as small guys, right, we couldn't compete with them. But now we have HighLevel as our kind of ecosystem that holds us together. We can move so fast and turn on a dime and start creating a document collection Android, which we're going to talk about today, that will do just as well as the private equity backed company. Do you know what I mean? So in my opinion, the future's bright for us if we're able to move quickly as kind of AI automation people, because no one can compete with us. The big boys can't. These kind of private equity, the big SaaS companies can't cope with it, can't compete with us either. Does that make sense, everyone? Do you guys agree? Am I talking out my backside? Do you see the opportunity here? Really big opportunity. Okay, the small guys are going to win. In other words, the guys that can move fast, get creative, get on those coffee dates, they're going to win, which is why I'm so excited. I mean, I've seen this coming for about 18 months and I haven't been able to sleep a lot, right? Because I'm so excited for what we're putting together here for you guys. Does that make sense? And as just said, the playing field has been leveled. It absolutely has been. And it's right for the taking. You guys are right here with us today. All right, enough of the pep talks. Let's get into the document collection Android. So who kind of knows what we're kind of doing here? Does anyone type in the chat box if you have an understanding of what kind of Seb's put together here? We've written about in the emails leading up to this, but anyone got any ideas about what exactly we do? It's not rocket science. It kind of does what it says on the tin, but we're going to get Seb to explain how he does it in a sec. So some people have no idea what this is, right? Which is why I wanted to ask the question. Okay, so think of document collection inside a business, right? And let's say you're working, and this happened to me recently, right? Let me use an example. It happens all the time. So that's right. So we're moving offices at the moment, right? And we engaged a solicitor, and then what happened is that the solicitor, we signed the contract, and then the solicitor had to chase me for quite a few days to get all of the documents in, right? So I had to get my proof of identity, my utility bills, and I had to email them all in over time, and it was just a real pain in the ass, right? And the same might happen for someone that's applying for a mortgage. Once you have the decision in principle, what happens after that is that the client needs to collect all of the proof of finance in order to qualify for that mortgage before you can move ahead. It happens in solar. Maybe you have to upload photos of your roof before you can get solar installed. There's just so many different applications for this across so many different industries. Okay, so what Seb's figured out to do, and we're going to show you how he does this in a sec, is the end-to-end solution, right? So he actually does the leads for the clients for, let's use solar as an example. That's not the niche he's in, but generates the lead for the clients. Then the client is booked into an appointment. And then once the appointment's set and the person wants to go ahead, he'll trigger the AI to go and collect all of the documents to get the solar finance, to know where the solar is going on the roof, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, all the way through from lead to the closed client, if that makes sense. So he's replaced a whole department in that solar client's team because they don't need to have someone to collect the documents for each of the appointments that are ready to close. Does that make sense, everyone? Hopefully I haven't muffed that too badly.
No, that's right. And yeah, and obviously ultimately we use WhatsApp to help get those images and those documents, and we'll chase the customer until they provide those documents, and then that's how it works in a nutshell.
Pretty simple. Like sometimes the simplest thing to explain are the most obvious and the ones that you can monetize the best, right? Does anyone know what this thing is? PCs. People are even abbreviating now, which is what I like. It's called the Prince Charming SMS, right? And everything that I teach and everything that Seb does as well, it all starts with the Prince Charming SMS or the Prince Charming. It's called the hand raiser, right? It's like a hand raiser. Does anyone know how the Prince Charming, what the Prince Charming is? Someone can go ahead and type it out here, right? See if who's first to be able to get it. No, it's the SMS. It's the SMS. What does the SMS actually say? So here we go. Is this the same blank who asked for blank? Whoever said that, Craig's pretty much bang on, right? So when we approach the lead with an SMS like this, is this the same XYZ that applied for XYZ, right? When we send that to a database, they get back, right? We're not trying to sell something immediately. And when they get back, then we're able to instigate the conversational AI. And then after the person's been qualified, we can then turn them into a go after the documents, if that makes sense. And I'm going to show you a flow chart of what that looks like at the moment. But everything that I teach is all instigated by this SMS. We call it the Prince Charming because it wakes up the leads, wakes up the old leads. Okay, and document collection can work for old leads and also new leads. So let's have a look at this flow chart, Seb, and if you can talk. I mean, it's pretty basic here, but talk us through how you do it.
Yeah, so exactly as you said, Dan, we start off with the Prince Charming SMS hand raiser, which obviously if you know, and then once they get a response, so once the hand is raised, we go into the qualification as per normal. So typically we'll have 2 or 3 qualifying questions. Assuming, obviously, if they don't respond as normal, we'll send sort of follow-up messages and bump messages. Assuming the lead reaches a point of qualification and they fit criteria, which is at that point there, we'll then go into asking for the relevant documentation. So this is where the switch to WhatsApp happens. So whether it's identification you need, whether it's I don't know, it could be anything. It could be images of housing disrepair, images of whatever it is that you need. It's very interchangeable. Switch over to WhatsApp then to allow people to send those images. Those images come straight into our HighLevel, and then they get saved and they can be sent to whoever needs them. If you don't have WhatsApp, the good thing here is that in the snapshot that we have, it switches straight over to email. So HighLevel recognize that customer doesn't have WhatsApp, and then instead we'll send them an email requesting documentation, and then they can reply to that email and attach the images. So we try and make it as easy as we can for people to submit docs, and hence the reason why we go down this route.
And why? And you can't do document collection via SMS, right? Or can you?
You can, but obviously there is sort of issues with it. One being it's going to cost the customer and yourself more to send sort of media messages. And we find WhatsApp is just the easiest ways to submit these documents because they can just send it all through. It's all done over the internet instead. So it's it's basically it's a cost saving thing more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, guys, like there's lots of questions coming in. There will be. Today's call, the only way you're going to get your questions answered if you go to the Q&A panel. Do you guys know where that is? And can you find it? Just a heads up. So if you want to ask your questions, there'll be a Q&A at the end and we'll go through and we'll answer them there. Has everyone got that? Can you just let me know? Found it? No, yes. Okay. Yeah, it's in the Q&A section. So and you ask your questions there and we'll go through and we'll answer every single one of them. I've got another hour and 40 minutes before I've got my next call, and that should be more than enough time. All right. So here's the workflow, but like I'm always like a picture paint 1,000 words. So let's run through a real life. You can walk us through this conversation.
Sure.
Okay. I'll do the conversation first, and I'll come back to the stats. Right. So
Makes sense.
So just walk us through this, right? Walk us through how this. So this is inside HighLevel, right? And the first bit is SMS.
Yeah, exactly. The reason that we sort of start with SMS is because it's allows us to be a bit more flexible in terms of plug and play. It means we can go straight in and we can send to a high volume straight away. We don't have to worry so much about the WhatsApp warm-up process, which is sort of like essentially holding a lot of you guys back.
Yep.
So yeah, SMS allows us to go big. We can run it to 5,000, 10,000 contacts, whatever, off the bat.
Yep.
So yeah, we start with SMS, sort of normal database reactivation, as you can see. We start with the hand raiser. Hey,
Yep.
it's agent name from company name. Is that the
Yep.
same day? We wanted help with their debts in the last few months. And obviously
Yep.
we have our opt-out statement there as well.
Can I just jump in quickly?
Yep.
Right? So for those of you who are wondering, you could, like, let's say you're running this for like a debt. This is for debt, right? But like it's a debt client that has 100,000 leads that were generated, early 2024, right? So you could go to the client, you have the offer of the century, and you say, have you got any old leads we can turn into IBAs or debt consolidation plans on a performance basis? If so, give us your old leads. And this is essentially what you're doing here, right? This is for database reactivation, isn't it? For their old leads.
Exactly.
So
for their old leads. So
who wanted help with their debts in the last few months, right? Which is the key phrase there. So this is a real life conversation, right?
This is a test conversation. So
okay.
Yeah, this is just a test. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yes, it is. All right. Then
what again. So then again, as you can see, the message, thanks. Sorry, if you go back one, Dan. You got, thank goodness my calendar's pinged me to call, but I didn't want to disturb you. Are you still looking for help? This is, from Prince Charming prompts. That's something you will be familiar with already.
Yeah.
And then they say, I am, yes. No, normally that is got. Obviously, this is a pretty typical example. If people don't reply, then we'll get like follow-ups come in and chasers. If people have, sort of questions, obviously you've got the whole knowledge of AI access to, so the AI is going to answer those questions accordingly. And then we go into the qualifying questions.
So this is all AI. This is all AI.
This is all AI. Yeah.
So after I'm indeed, yes, this is AI back and forth, right?
Yeah, this is all AI. As you can see, like by the timestamps, it's all happening in real time. It's all like instant replies pretty much. Go into the qualifying questions, how much is your biggest debt?
Yeah.
Have another planner, and what have you tried to reduce your debt? Obviously, these are all going to be changeable when it applies to your industry and your offer. We've missed out a page there. Well, let me just have a look at this because it should be updated. Yeah, it's updated. Can you refresh this PowerPoint? Because maybe it's not.
Let me just do this.
Yeah, I just need to refresh it. It should be there. There you go.
Where are we?
Yeah, that's the one.
Check. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. So yeah, qualifying questions. What have you tried to do to reduce this there? We're struggling. Okay.
Yeah.
The debts, the bots, showing a little bit of empathy here, which is great. Especially when it comes to an industry like debt, as much empathy as we can show, it really helps the customer, connect. So obviously, here we're going to reach out via WhatsApp for the required documentation. If you don't have WhatsApp, don't worry, we'll send an email.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it says here, so we've gone through and now the client's ready to get further help. And then it said, we're here to help you go through this. Can I go ahead and reach out via WhatsApp to us for the required documentation to proceed? If you don't have WhatsApp, no worry, we'll send an email instead, right? So this is where you switch from SMS over to WhatsApp to collect the documents, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, a few reasons for this, like I said earlier. One, it's cheaper and easier to people to send images, and also then it allows people to So like the client, the end client, to have easy access to WhatsApp via their phone, via whatever tool they use. So it's just makes things a lot easiasier. So
Yep.
yeah, as you can see, switches to WhatsApp. You can see it in the color change, and you've got the little
Yep.
ticks for the red receipts. And yeah, we've asked for the documentation. This can be, like I said before, ID, whatever docs you need, statements, whatever it is. Also,
Yep.
WhatsApp is very secure. It's highly encrypted. Again, it's another tick in the box, I suppose. So yeah, and that is it. You get the identification. It all gets updated in the pipeline in HighLevel, as you'll see in the training.
Yep.
And yeah, you have those docs ready to go. And for me personally, what this does for me, it massively increases the lead value, meaning that I can essentially sell that lead for more with documents than without. So that is, again, why I use it
Yes.
sort of 9 times out of 10.
Yes. Yes. So actually, we've got Nat in the office here who used to work as a sales advisor for debt companies, and I imagine a lot of her job was after the person said they want to go ahead, is to go back and forth, and they probably actually use WhatsApp personally, right, to be able to get all of the documents. Right? And now we've taken that away from that debt client's business process, right? Which means they're going to get more people submitting all of their documents because it's done automatically, and the AI won't leave them alone until it's all done, right? But also it helps save them, a ton of money, which means that you can charge more for what you're doing, especially if you're doing it on a performance basis, because they're like, this is just we're getting so many more sales made, and we're also saving a ton of money, and that's the beauty of what we're doing here. It's just an absolute no-brainer for any client that collects documents, which, out of those 359 million businesses that I showed you before, maybe, I don't know, like 500, 50 million of them might do document collection. Do you know what I mean? It's such a huge industry. This offer and what we're teaching you here is just going to, if you can master this, it's going to change, your business dramatically. And this is where I was like, holy shit, Seb, like, I knew you were doing well, right? But like, have a look at some of these numbers, right? So just take us through. This is for
Well,
one.
these are the dot collection stats. We're doing this with quite a few companies, but predominantly housing disrepair in the UK, which is like a claims management basically kind of thing.
Explain how it works. Explain what the normal lead flow would look like in that, and how the process works.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a client. They've got quite a large database, mainly of housing association and council tenants in the UK, because that's part of the qualifying criteria. So in September last year, we basically started reactivating this client's database. It's a 0 to 6 month old database. They've got about 250,000 records of council tenant and housing association tenants. So we've not really scratched the surface. Obviously, we've done a lot more since then. So in September, we sent around 83,000 SMSs, so hand raiser, Prince Charming SMSs.
Prince Charming
That's
SMSs. Yeah,
that's the one. So from that, we got about a 9% response rate, which, to be honest with you, in other campaigns, we normally see higher. We normally see around 15-20%. But because this client is, sort of using, it is their own data, but it's more generalized to housing tenant. Yeah, it's housing tenants and council tenants and housing association tenants. So it's a bit more generalized. It's not necessarily specific to the claim itself. So better data would lead to better results. But considering that what the data is, I'm really happy with these results. Hence why I'm sort of sharing them with you guys. But yeah, from that we got a 9% response rate. Again, we'd hope for sort of 15-20% usually. But of those leads, we had 1,500 qualified, so that's about 20% of them. So they reach the qualifying criteria. So with housing disrepair, you have to be a council tenant, you have to have some sort of disrepair, and you have to report it to the landlord, basically. So 20% of those leads reach that criteria. So from that point, what we need to basically quadruple the lead value is images. So it's images of the disrepair, it's videos of the disrepair. So a lot of these guys, because the UK is a cold, horrible place, we get a lot of people with mold and damp and things like that. So yeah, we request these images. Exactly. So we found that once we got to that stage, over half of the guys were submitting images because we've gone through this whole process of nurturing the customer, building intent, building rapport, building trust. So ultimately, when they got to that stage of submitting images, they were really happy to, because they were really hot or warm sort of lead by
Yeah,
that point. So basically, yeah, essentially what this allows us to do is, like I said, sell these ones of images for more, and anyone's that means that you know 39% are not wasted. Those guys who didn't submit docs are not wasted. We still
yeah,
sell those as leads, but as ones who qualified but didn't submit documents. Do you know what I mean? They're still a
yeah,
warm lead.
yeah,
It
exactly.
just didn't go the whole way.
Exactly.
So we're not having any wastage here.
And this is for a database of leads the client had given up on, that they could not use a call center. They could use a call center to dial, right? But like, like what you've done here. I mean, how much is a closed HDR case worth on average? Have you any idea?
Yeah,
To the
from a
client, to the
claims
client,
management company, it's about £1,000, but solicitors get around 3 grand. So yeah, anywhere from
3 grand,
1,000 to 3,000.
3 grand. And have you any idea out of how much out of those 965 which would have closed?
You get normally with clawbacks and stuff. We hope for around 35 to 40% would have
35%.
actually, yeah, would have closed. Yeah.
So that's 40%. Let's say 300 to be conservative, at 300, £3,000 per case, which is what they get paid, which is £1 million worth of business for this client from leads that they'd given up on. I mean, and Seb, I mean, I don't want you to share, how much you're earning for this, but my point is always to you guys is, you've got the golden ticket here, right? So you negotiate hard for your 50% if you can get it, right? Because this income is dead to this client. It's found money for them, and you should be paid a high percentage of that money as it comes in. Okay, that's why I get so excited about it. Does that make sense, everyone? That's just incredible, mate. So good, so good.
Yeah, it's
All right,
yeah, amazing.
please also ask questions in the Q&A, right? And by the way, I never like asking people how much money they're earning, and I'm not going to ask Seb, and I don't expect you to share either, because that's private. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these like guys that uses people with Lambos and all of that stuff. Although you have got the same Porsche as me, Seb, which is another cool
Yeah.
fact, which I like you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
We're not the same person. It's like a younger version of you, like basketball and have a Porsche.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's actually let's just power through those, and we'll get to the. No, actually, let's do some Q&As here on the document collection before we move into the WhatsApp. Okay. Q&A. I'm going to ask them. So, will this be recorded? Yes, there will be a recording coming out. How do you deal with any security concerns for the client and the customer set?
Security, sorry, can they? I'm just trying to find the same. Okay, that's just a general question. How do you deal with security concerns for your client and the customer? So again, this is essentially why we use WhatsApp, right, instead of SMS, especially when it comes to document collection. WhatsApp is sort of highly encrypted and secure. So normally this sort of nullifies any concerns around security. Obviously, you're going to have to tick the normal compliance boxes and things like that. But
Yeah.
like we say a lot in Roya, like the compliance side of things is the responsibility of the client.
It's not, yeah, you're using their WhatsApp account, using their data, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have a data protection agreement which we get them to sign inside Roya. But then for me, like, unless I put the ball in their court, it's their data. Everything we do is inside their account, right? We're just the marketing business. If that makes sense. Okay. Someone's asked the same thing. What about privacy issues collecting confidential information? Same kind of answer. Are you using the native? Are you using the native WhatsApp business integration? We'll go into WhatsApp more in a sec. Seb, you are?
Yes, we are indeed using the native business WhatsApp integration. We've used third parties as well, and we've tried this out. My issue is because third parties are essentially a WhatsApp automation tool. The WhatsApp algorithms detect these high frequency. So meaning that you basically the sort of ban/suspension rate is a lot higher. In
Yeah.
my experience anyway, it might be different for some of you guys, but this is why we use the HighLevel native one, because it goes down official WhatsApp routes using the WhatsApp API.
Yeah.
Everything is verified by Meta. So it gives us the best chance of not getting that account banned, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Try this in the US. So yeah, WhatsApp isn't as big over in the US, right? But there's other ways around it, which is not we're not going to touch on today, right? But like we have done this in the past as well, where you can send clients like a landing page and they can upload the documents on that landing page, or you can do it via email, which Seb said. But you could also, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, right? Like there's other apps like Telegram and more popular ones in the States, right, that have API integrations too, right? So you could kind of, I'm sure, use you could get all complex and have a document collection Android that tries WhatsApp and then tries Telegram. And then, I mean, I'm guessing here, right? But you probably could do something complex like that, right? If you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, HighLevel itself works on like Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. So like
Yeah.
we could basically apply the same logic and use Facebook Messenger, for example, which is another secure service.
Yeah.
So that's a good option. Or like Dan said, it is possible to create landing pages and have people submit documents and then bring that back into GHL as well. I think we're going to touch upon this maybe over the next couple of weeks as well inside the group.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that for sure.
Orchid's asked, can we use WhatsApp for the start of the Prince Charming? Yes, you can. But if you don't get it right, like Seb teaches, you will get your account banned. All right. How do you charge the client for a document collection? So you can charge them any way you want. But remember, you have the golden ticket, right? So you can afford to negotiate hard with them, right? I would push for it on a performance basis per submission, like, or per document submitted, something like that, which is easy to kind of measure and just charge a flat fee per a performance-based fee. Other people like doing it on retainers. If you want to do a retainer, then you make sure you charge a lot for it, right? Because we just explained how Seb did £1 million worth of business for the client from leads that they've forgotten about or had no use for, right? So he's not getting a large chunk of that. That's not very fair in my eyes. All right.
This is it. This is it. I think as well, like what you have to remember is that if a lead is actively submitting documentation and taking images with their phone, the intent of that lead is automatically higher than any other kind of leads. So it's incredibly warm. It's got a high chance of that lead is going to convert for the end client. So bear that in mind when you're pricing this up for sure.
Yeah. Jack's asked the same question about costing, right? Remember, we've got the golden ticket. We can, like, as I said, there's so many businesses out there that need this, right? You just do it and be ballsy, right? Like as I said before, they know they need AI. They've got no idea how to do it. The Salesforces and their CRM guys aren't helping them with this type of stuff, right? Because they're like 2 years behind. We're the only people that can help them, right? And the other good thing is that if you've got 6 months worth of AI experience, you're a leading expert. You know what I mean? Like it's so new. Does that make sense? Like it's so new. And, we're probably the only training platform on the planet or community that knows how to do this, right? Or has done it, which means that it's just a blue, I hate the term blue ocean, right? But it's a blue ocean out there for you guys at the moment.
Sorry, just touching on that question as well. Obviously, WHDHL, like you say, it's a third-party software. It is a cheaper option, but you're going to face the issue of it's going to be easier for you to get banned, basically. So by all means, like if you're running a smaller volume, maybe on the speed to lead Android, then WHDHL could be a viable option. But when we think about scaling and scaling properly, I think the native WhatsApp, from my experience, is the way to go.
Yeah. How does AI know if the proper document was shared?
So the actual document itself, this is an interesting question actually, because within HighLevel, like unfortunately at the moment, they don't give us any option to do anything with the image in terms of send it to an AI or send it through an API. that is a lack of sort of high-level feature. I have seen this sort of pinned a few times in the ideas for the HighLevel. So my prayer is that HighLevel will allow us to do more things with the images when it reaches HighLevel in terms of that. I think what I do personally is I give a read-only login. So when the documents has been submitted to us, we basically assign that lead to client. That client has a login where they can only view the leads of documents, so it's nice and tidy for them. They go in, flat the images, and do whatever. Then they have the option to manually intervene or call up the client. Like I said to you before, like when you get to this stage, the client is the highest intent could possibly be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we're doing document collection too, in similar niches to you, Seb, and Jamie's figured out, like, if they upload a picture of a cat, right, it'll say, sorry, we're after some housing disrepair images, not a picture of a cat, right? Like,
well, he's ahead of me.
AI can read images, right? So that's pretty cool as well.
We get Jamie to spill the beans on that.
Reach out to him. What kind of niches do document collection? I'm not even going to answer that. I'm sorry, there's just so many. You just need to put your thinking cap on and thousands of them. Is there a maximum amount of docs you can collect via WhatsApp?
No, there isn't. As long as you're within your sort of limit, whatever sort of tier you want, then no. I think the images stay in HighLevel for about 3 months. So you've got 3 months to save those images.
Whereabouts on HighLevel are these documents saved? That was the next question.
Yeah, so these have just been the conversations tab. They'll just pop up. And at the moment, we sort of like I said, give a login for the end user to save them and send them wherever they need to send.
Yeah. All right. Everyone's asking me how to charge for it. Like, if I was you guys, I would find out like how much does a housing, like, let's using housing disrepair as an example, right? How much does a lead normally go for if you're selling a lead to a lawyer?
About £40.
£40 per lead. So if you're able to charge that for a lead, and the average price of a closed case is £3,000, and you also know that 50% of the leads that submit photos close into a sale, then you could probably charge £200 or something like that per full lead, right? They're going to bite your hand off at that because it still makes commercial sense to them. You could probably charge more. Always start high, and be prepared to walk away. And I've found as well when negotiating, like when I used to be selling leads, and Seb, you'll know this as well, and we haven't spoken about your story yet. But when I used to sell leads, I used to always have this lingering kind of down on the shoulder saying, oh, these leads aren't quite good enough, or they're not going to convert well enough, or whatever, right? They're not going to be good enough quality. So I would always reduce the cost to my leads a little bit because I wasn't confident in what I was doing. But what we're showing you and giving you today is confidence. It's confidence, right? That's the main thing you want to be. Once you have that on your shoulder, you're going to be able to sell this for whatever you want. If they don't say yes, then just walk away, right? There's plenty more fish in the ocean. So Victor's asking about PDFs, Word documents, and photos. You can do all of that in WhatsApp as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Any sort of document, well, not any, but the high majority of documents is compatible with WhatsApp for sure.
Does the client have to have WhatsApp for business?
No, it can be a personal account, just a normal WhatsApp account. I think something like 75% of people in the UK use WhatsApp or something, so it's just like crazy over here, but maybe not so much in the US.
If they're not, then that's an added pitch. You're like, oh my God, Mr. Client, why aren't you using WhatsApp yet? The engagement is off the charts for document collection. You can add that into your pitch. Our document collection is usually done in-house. If not, they're companies that specialize them. Like, So, there are some companies, I believe, that will do this, but like in the archaic old school way, right? Like when I was talking about these companies that have, private equity money injected into them and they have high valuations and all of that, right? Like this is the kind of stuff they do. And that's why I'm saying, look at what Seb's done, one man band. Look what he's doing, all right? Like that's why the opportunity is so big. What is so unique about this, apart from linking to the WhatsApp link in the process? I don't understand what that one means. What are typical conversion rates we could discuss with the client? Well, it depends totally on totally on the niche, right? Like Seb's just giving you some stats there, and it's totally on the niche. And I always say when you start is that you don't promise any outcome or anything like that. That's why I always say it's a test, right? If they push me, I say, listen, I only ever work with on a test basis with a client to start because I'm usually really pushy with me wanting to get API information and getting everything signed off and good to go quickly. If your team starts like taking weeks to get back, then that's cool. I know you're busy, but they're not the type of client I want to work with, right? And that's why we do a test. So the reason I do that is to be able to get the client to know that I mean business, right, in the test phase. Does that make sense? If they don't come to the table during the test phase, then I let go of them, right? Because what happens a lot of the time is, and people will be feeling this pain, they're in Roya and also in my groups, right, is that they'll work with a client and then they'll get the coffee date done and then they won't be, show the client who's boss, like I just explained. And then 3 weeks later, they're wondering why they still haven't hit go on their campaign. Okay. So that's why I position the test as you want to work with me. Okay. That's the way it is. I'm the chooser, not the chosen. Okay. If you want to work with me because I have such a great offer, then prove to me that you're going to be a good partner. Once they prove that, once I set that intention, that's usually why I can get people to hand over and move quickly. All right. I think we're going to move on. Which is automated voice messages with WhatsApp. Voice is a whole nother I think we're going to have to move on. There's too many questions. We're going to be here forever.
Answer some more at the end, shall we? After the next section.
Yeah, I think, oh God, there's like tons of questions here. Sorry, guys, we're not going to be able to get through them all. This is a huge webinar today. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, feel free to drop me a DM on School Guys as well, and I'll answer as many as I can.
Cool, mate. Good man. All right. What the WhatsApp Android? So let's guess where this starts again, people. Same thing, right? But for those of you who are new to my community, the offer of the century is we get client-hold leads. We turn them into sales using SMS and AI, right? But what Seb's figured out how to do now is use WhatsApp instead of SMS. And from what I'm seeing, SMS in some cases works way better. The restriction that we had before was that people just kept on getting their accounts banned, right? Because they were approaching a client with 100,000 old leads and they were trying to do 10,000 a day and it just would never work, right? They just couldn't do it. So you had to start with SMS, okay? And the SMS was, hey, it's Dan here from Flex. Is this the same Seb that was looking for solar a few months ago, right? And then that SMS would go back and forth and we would book the appointment that way, okay? What we're doing is exactly the same thing here, but with WhatsApp. Okay, so take us through this flow chart, Seb.
Yeah, sure. So how we run it at the moment, and we've sort of scaled an account now to a limit of 10,000 initiated conversations for 24 hours. And we send roughly 2,000 to 4,000 initiated conversations a day. We have the data, typically a mix of live incoming leads, remarketed leads over the last 48 hours to a week, and then sort of 0 to 3 month client data. And this is for high scale. I mean, we do a few different WhatsApp things now, but for high scale, high amount of sending, this is a mix that we find is working well at the moment. So this is what we use. I'm not saying that other data won't work. I'm just saying this is what we use basically. So
So,
from that, I to go.
so
Yeah, go on.
let me just jump in quickly, right? So, for those, I don't want to teach people to suck eggs here, right? But like when a client generates leads, right? They generate leads for what we call fresh leads, right? Which are from Facebook ads or Google ads or SEO, or other kind of traffic platforms, right? And we all know that speed to lead is important. So once the lead comes in, if it comes in at 10 p.m. at night, that lead's not getting called until 9 a.m. the next day normally. That makes sense, right? So when we're able to use AI to go back and forth with that lead and turn them into an appointment, it adds massive value to the business. Okay. So what Seb's saying here is that we're using WhatsApp for those leads. 48-hour data is exactly that as well, right? But like a lot of the times clients would say, listen, we've got, and this is crazy, by the way, because they don't yet understand the power of AI, right? But what they say is, listen, we've got a call center of 20 people and we've got our systems in place and everything's working great. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to dial these leads to death for the first 2 days, dial them 10 times each and use the old school hack of like annoying the hell out of these people. But you can have them after 48 hours, Seb. And that's what Seb's talking about here, right? So they'll take their 48-hour data and then we'll run WhatsApp to that data. Okay. And then also you've got
100%.
the database, right? So this is what happened with the document collection client we were looking at before, where you can go after their 1-year-old, 2-year-old leads and just re-engage them. And when you blend them together, like Seb's doing, that's how he can send 3,000 or 4,000 a day because he's going after their old database plus their fresh leads and 48-hour leads. And when you blend them all together, it's when you start getting, significant results, which we'll chat about in a sec. All right, off you go, mate.
Yeah, no, exactly that. The warm up is the key element here, and we'll go into more detail. But yeah, pretty much Prince Charming WhatsApp, so the same as the SMS, but it's a WhatsApp. If you don't have WhatsApp, you've got a few options. Obviously, you can send an SMS instead, go down the SMS route. Or for you guys that can't use SMS, you can do email or something else. So that is quite interchangeable. But we have it as if they don't have a WhatsApp, HighLevel recognize this, and then we go down the SMS route instead and do everything over SMS instead of WhatsApp. So yeah, that's it. Pretty much qualification. So again, normal qualification questions. We run typically debt questions or disrepair questions. Assuming they meet criteria, then via WhatsApp we obviously go to the CTA, whether that be book a call, visit a link, or whatever it is that it may be. Of course, as well, as per normal, we have follow-ups with WhatsApp. We do way less following up because that is it can be a bit of a red flag in WhatsApp eyes if it's sending too many message templates without response. So we normally limit the follow-ups to around 2, sort of spread over a couple of days. Fine, we find that works pretty well. But yeah, we'll go more into the strategy. But as an overview, in a nutshell, this is the essential, the workflow and how it works.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the cool thing I like about this, right, is that because I don't know, do you know what percentage of UK people have WhatsApp?
I think it's about 75%, I think.
75%, right? So out of 100 SMSs or WhatsApps that are sent out, 25 will start with wanting to go down the WhatsApp route because we'll look at some of the stats in a moment, right? But like you seem to be getting a much higher response rate inside the WhatsApp platform.
Massively.
But if they don't have WhatsApp, right, then they go to SMS. Okay. And then the same thing happens. It's just the qualification, the conversational AI goes back and forth either via SMS or WhatsApp. And then once the lead is qualified, they're just booked into an appointment, all right, in this case. So, for it could be you Seb's put down here, book a call or visit a URL, for example. So, if we were doing this for, so we've got an offer we're running at the moment, which is I think it's a $99 product, right? And they don't have they don't want a call center that's going to dial all of the leads that we're re-engaging back here for $99. It's just not economically viable. So we send them a link to pay for the $99 down here at the bottom. So you'll have the lead that hasn't converted, the old lead, the fresh lead, or the 48-hour lead. It'll go through the WhatsApp and the SMS, and then at the end, when they're ready to go, and the AI is like used, it's persuasion techniques, which by the way you can train it based on the Wolf of Wall Street or whatever type of sales training that you want. And then we can drop the link when they're hot and ready, which AI can do for you, send them to a URL, and then takes the payment, right? And if it was for something like e-commerce or this type of offer here, which I've just explained to you, we'd take you can track the sales that come from that link via an affiliate link and get paid a percentage of each sale, which is what we do here. Does that make sense, everyone? Sounds cutting out for some people. I think it might be the individual. So track payment is easily done by any kind of e-commerce website, or anyone that is worth their salt has affiliate links they can send you, and you can just get tracked easily. Okay. Any client that worth their salt is going to be able to pay you on performance if you bring them a ton of sales. They'll figure out a way for you to track it, accurately. Because people, it's one of the most commonly asked questions. How do we trust a client to pay on performance, right? What's your experience of that, Seb?
So for me, I'm very lucky because I know a lot of these guys already, but there's an element of trust there. But an absolute essential is portal access for me. I need some sort of portal access to be able to see what leads are, verified, pack out, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously then some sort of written agreement or contract as well.
Yeah.
They're the two things for me.
Well, have you ever had anyone try and rip you off?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Normally it's just people just trying to like, say conversion rates are lower than they actually are is the main one. And just like, but we've had like one client like not pay us, and then you get into this whole game of like chasing them for like months and months and months, and it's just like a ball ache. Which is why now, like, when I get into bed with clients, I make sure my due diligence is on point. Like, I only want
Yeah.
to work with clients that I know you've got
Yeah.
like a decent seller, basically. Yeah.
So due diligence is important, right?
Mm.
My point is, like, I've never really had anyone. I've had one client not want to pay me, and we got the money back eventually. But like, the point is that they're actually doing you a favor. Like, if they're trying to screw you, right? Like, so if that happened to me again, I'd because now we've got this offer behind us. We've got so much value that we can bring, right? If someone's trying to screw me, then I'm just like, okay, that's it. The relationship's over. All right, I don't want anything to do with anyone like that again. Okay, and you'll find that the people that treat you as a partner, the ones that take you out for the steak dinner and fly you to Ibiza for like a weekend away, which happens, when you become a partner like this, right? They're the guys that will never screw you because they know how valuable you are to their business. So you'll find that they're wanting to send you the stats every Friday because they're excited about how many sales they're making, right? And how much it's changing their business. Okay. The businesses are about to, businesses with data and businesses that are established over the next, 2 years are going to absolutely rough, right? Because there's going to be a whole army of people like you and me that are going to be able to help them extrapolate a lot of new revenue from their business they didn't even know they had. Not to mention the costs they're going to make, the savings they're going to make, right? So you're going to see business become a whole lot more profitable in the next few years. We haven't even started talking about voice AI and stuff like that yet inside my community, but that's coming soon too. So it's a very exciting time. Okay, well, let's have a look at some of these stats. And these are what blew me away, right? Because I thought you were talking about a whole year's worth of data here, right? But this is 1 month. So explain
Yeah.
these
So
crazy stats, right?
yeah. So with this client, we signed them in August, I think it was. We spent like a couple of months, lower volume, and sort of building the WhatsApp reputation and getting it to a good space. And then in the debt industry, like when like this time of year hits, companies just want to go mad because it's a great time of year. The weather's typically bad.
Yep.
People are more like on it in terms of like sorting out their debts. So they just want to go mad basically. So we tried to we really ramped it up, and that's like when you ramp up this sort of thing, because it's a very big client, right? It's a 50 seat call center, or they have a
Yep.
50 seat center. So yeah, you're a bit like dubious because you don't want things to go wrong, basically. So that's why the warm-up process is essential. But when done right and with the correct combination of data, like we touched on before, web leads, live leads, remarketing, so 48 hours to a couple of weeks, and then obviously the older client data as well. When we sort of get that sort of cocktail, that blend right, the results are sort of outstanding. So as you can see, in November, we initiated 43,000 messages via WhatsApp, of
Yep.
which we had a 42% response rate, which is just like mental. So 18,000 people responded. And of those, we got a 30% call booking rate. I think the biggest reason for this is because of a couple of things. The industry. So with debt specifically, a lot of WhatsApp is by far the preferred method of communicating, because when someone calls a debt client, they often think it's like a creditor chasing them or something. So like
Yes.
this was able to basically build a bud for trust, and making the AI was able to make the customers feel very relaxed about the
Yes.
whole thing. So they're just like, yeah, let's be cool, let's sort this out. So we got like an incredible booking rate, and because WhatsApp, like more people open WhatsApps than SMSs.
Yes.
Because I think SMS you get a lot of spam sort of content and stuff like that as well. With WhatsApp, it's coming from a verified channel. It's secure. There's a business name and there's a business profile picture. So
Yep.
again, I think that resonates massively. So yeah, we got some incredible numbers, as you can
That's
see.
nuts. That's nuts. I know.
Yeah.
We were the first people in the UK, I think, to do pay per lead in the debt industry. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a bit longer in the tooth than you are, right? So I know a bit about this industry. But and what the average IBA is maybe worth £4,000, something like that, right? 4,000, let's say 4,000, right? Do you know how many of those booked appointments showed up?
So we get around about
Doing some
50%,
stats here.
60% show up rate usually.
Five, six, 7, 6. Divided by 2, let's just say 50% showed up, right? Do you know how many of those showed up, turned into a sale?
Yeah,
What would
so
you guess?
verified cases, you gonna guess? Verified cases, we're looking at around 8 to 10%. Some months, some weeks, 12%.
12%
So
from the calls.
yeah, from the calls.
From the calls. So let's say 10% times 0.1 equals 283 IVAs, right? And they're worth 4,000 each. You just did 1.13 million pounds worth of business for this client in 1 month from leads that they'd given up on, right? And they would have no idea how to do this without you. I mean, that's just insane numbers, right? You're adding a lot of value. Well done.
Yeah, it's crazy. And when you look at those numbers, you just think, you're not charging enough. But it is what it is. I think with this client, because it's such a big client, I just sort of became a bit of a yes man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's get it. Yeah. I was just like going, yeah, let's just do it. And then obviously, in the end, it spoke for itself. But yeah, like you said, I'm locked into these guys now for a year. So I'm looking forward to renegotiating that contract for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're still doing pretty well. I was speaking to you offline about that. You're still doing pretty well. But mate, the world's about to open up to you, right? Because like you've just got so much talent and skill, and you can implement like a mofo, right? Like, can I just ask, how do you deliver all? Is it just you, or do you have like a VA that helps, or like?
So it's just been me since 2019 when I started this, and then like I think about 3 or 4 months ago, I managed to get a bit more of a team behind me. So I've got people who do content now, and I've got people who help me with my ads. But I like the tech side. That's my passion. That's what gets me up in the morning. So I just handle the tech side by myself.
So you're a machine.
Anything that's
You're
custom,
a machine.
right? Yeah,
You're a
I love it,
machine,
mate.
right? No, I don't do the front end anymore. Oh, I do a little bit. I had to have some clients we run ads for, but I usually outsource that. Right.
Right.
There's so much money to be made just helping on the AI side, right? And it sounds like you do all of the AI yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at. That's
The
what I'm
back
good at.
end.
That's what I do.
It's
Back
back
end.
end.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Absolute nuts. All right. Let's have a look at a conversation. Okay. Hi, it's Seb from client name. Is this the same Seb who wanted help with their debts in the last few months? Yes, it's me. Thank goodness my calendar just pinged a call, but I didn't want to disturb you. Are you still looking for help? Yes, I am actually. Great to hear you looking to take that step forward. Can you tell me what your biggest debt is? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you guys understand how all this works right now. AI takes over, goes back and forth, and then it says, I can't do it, but I can call later around 4 p.m. And the way that you do it is that you don't send a calendar link or anything like that, right? It'll just automatically
Yeah.
book in and ping the client's CRM to call that client at 4 p.m.
Yeah. We book everything conversationally. We just
Yeah.
find a bit of a higher rate doing it that way.
Yeah. Dropping a calendar links, like it just doesn't, when you get to the bigger clients, they just don't do it that way. Like if you try and say to them, oh, like, have you got a Google calendar we can like connect into? They'll laugh in your face, right? Because they're already ahead of that, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Now we get on to the cost savings with WhatsApp, right? So just explain these numbers to me, right?
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
So obviously, yeah. So WhatsApp basically charges on a different way to SMS. We do it per conversation or as a template sent. So in the
Yeah.
UK, sending a template costs us 0.0382.
Yeah.
In the US, it's sort of similar. I think it's less in the US as well. I think I
Way
get
cheaper
cheaper.
in the US. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you get it cheaper.
Way cheaper.
If you take that client as an example, we sent 43,000 templates. So conversations initiated. It
Yeah.
costs around £1,600,
Yeah.
which is fine. That's it's pretty good, isn't it, for that?
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't really know how many back and forths, but we've estimated to be around about 100,000 back and forths
Yeah.
messages. And obviously, because with WhatsApp, once you get a reply, it opens up a 24-hour window where we
Yeah.
can converse for free. I mean, that's the beauty of it, and that's where we basically make these savings in the back and forth. So once the conversation is going, it's all free. So for those 150,000 messages, roughly, give or take, it cost myself
Yeah.
£1,600.
Yeah.
Whereas if you did it via SMS, which is 0.038 here in the UK, Twilio charges us. And we did 150,000 messages, and obviously we've only got a 160 character limit as well. So our
Yeah.
WhatsApp messages can be a lot longer. We can allow our AI to be a bit more fruitful, if we like, and say a bit more.
Yeah.
Then we get to if you're doing it via SMS, you're looking at £5,000, £5,700, which is
Do you have any?
it's like quadruple.
Do you have any like? I mean, let's look at the stats. I just said you did over £1 million in a month worth of business, and that's legit as well. Because I know 10% call to IVA is low in my opinion as well. So you probably did
Yeah.
more than that. But what do you think? The other costs on top of you've got the OpenAI costs, right? And what Zapier or like what other costs do you think you have? Like
Sure. So if you're doing like Zapier for this, it's going to get expensive,
estimate?
right? Because you're doing a lot of executions. I don't use Zapier. I know a lot of the guys don't use Zapier. We're all on N8N now.
Yeah.
So if you're not on N8N yet, get on N8N. If you need help with N8N, drop me a message. We can talk about it. But so we run everything off N8N, which gives us a nice round £0 per month charge, which is lovely. And then OpenAI wise, it's sort of all builds together, so it's quite hard to break down. But we pay anywhere from like £1,000 to £2,000 a month in AI usage, and that's a lot of tokens. That's a lot of usage. So typically, most of you guys, that's across every client, and then everyone uses our software. So
I'd be
for
surprised.
this,
I'd be surprised if it was more than £500, right? So
yeah,
I would
it's going to
say
be around 500 quid. Yeah.
£2,000 total cost to be able to generate over £1 million worth of business. I mean, this is why, like I've always said, right, that the universe has a way of, up until now, been balancing itself out, right? If we were running ads, and this happened to you when you're running ads on TikTok, right? You run ads on TikTok and you'd be getting £3 leads and you're charging £40. But then the client comes back and says, oh, the quality isn't as good, and then we need to pay less per sale, right? And then it goes down to £25 per lead. But then everyone else starts doing TikTok, and eventually the margins keep coming, like, to the point where you might even lose money with that old way, right? The thing
some
is,
weeks for sure.
This is why WhatsApp and SMS, I'm calling the new media, right? Like, this is the new cost per 1,000 impressions on Facebook or TikTok, right? But it's a fixed cost and no one else is doing it. Does that make sense, everyone? Like, this is, the margins are just unbelievable, right? And AI, that cost to do all this is £500 for £1 million of AI. It's just off the charts, right?
Yeah,
It's just
honestly,
off
it's
the
crazy.
charts. It's just off the charts.
It's just like with some industries and some niches and the right client, the right database, you make that cocktail and it's just like, it leads to crazy results.
They've just said, do we bill for the cost? When you're making that much money, I don't think paying £2,000 out of your own pocket is a problem. I like to get the client to say yes as quickly as I can, so I can get started as quickly as I can, because I know I've got the golden ticket, right? So I usually just don't even bother trying to negotiate to get them to pay for it. But other people do. You know, HighLevel lets you mark up the SMS costs if you want to do it that way. Usually it's just splitting hairs at this point in time. I don't really bother about it too much. But you can get the client to charge. I don't know, Seb, do you absorb the cost yourself, or do you get them to charge?
So for these guys, I was a yes man and I pay the costs. But normally, depends on the deal really. But normally I try and get them to add their card to GHL, and they get billed for it.
Yeah, why not? Right, if you can, right? All right. Now we're on to the Q&A, guys, and there's currently 78 open questions, and I'm never going to get through them all. So I'm going to start from the bottom and go up, okay? Because we can go from there. Hey, Kate just keeps on. Kate, please type in the Q&A thing, but I'm going to answer this question. Do we offer any guarantee for results in terms of response rates and conversions? I think I touched on this before, right? We don't offer any guarantee during the test, right? Because we don't know what their data is like. And we also want to make sure that we want to work with this client, right? Okay, and that's my angle. We're the choosers, not the chosen. So we explain to them, we don't know what your data is like, right? And we only work with people that give us good data, okay? Because we don't want to mess around here. There's 100 other clients knocking down on our door. So give us the best data and give us your API details quickly, and let's move quickly. And if you don't do that in the test, then we're going to move on and go to the next guys, all right? We can't, depends, if you give us good data or not, basically, okay? So really, I don't promise anything during the test phase, because that would be silly. That would just make me look bad, okay? I never promise anything. Hope that makes sense. All right. Yeah, there was a recording. Welcome to Africa. Yeah. Are you using HighLevel Premium WhatsApp connection?
Yeah, I think it's been the native one. So yeah, the native GHL WhatsApp connection.
Cool. Have you tried using platforms like Closebot or Pointwise that integrates with HighLevel?
I've not personally, no.
Okay. I think there's less functionality, and it's also more expensive than if you do it the fundamental way, like we're teaching Roya and the way Seb does it.
Yeah, I think as much as you can do inside GHL, it's going to give you the ultimate amount of flexibility and cost efficiency as well.
Yeah. Ryan's asked, do you ask the business for upfront payment before you start messaging them, or do we pay before you hand the 1,000 messages to the customers, for example? So it depends, right? Like let's say you've got, like Seb has, right? And he's just done £1 million in business for a client from their old data, and he can use that as a case study, right?
you've got huge leverage then to say, listen, we've got tons of people. He knows he can get the client great results. So if I was him, I'd go to the client and say, well, this is what happens during the test. It's going to cost you £10,000 plus that to get started during that test. And then we'll go. And if you don't want to pay it, that's fine. Okay. Because he's got huge leverage. Okay. Seb's got that ability to do that now because he has a fantastic case study under his collar, right? But if you haven't and you're just starting out, like you don't have to charge anything because the costs, it's only time and the cost of a few SMSs or WhatsApps in order to get this going, right? So it's not going to cost you much. So my opinion is I wouldn't charge anything to get going if you can get away with it, right? Because you want the whole, I used to be a basketballer, right? And sometimes that hoop used to look like it was like this wide, right? But other times it was like this wide when I wasn't shooting well. You want the hoop to be as wide as you possibly can so everything you throw up goes in when you're getting started. Does that make sense? Okay. What happens if the lead takes longer? That's a good question. Longer than 24 hours to respond in a WhatsApp convo and the window to talk without the template ends. Can the convo keep going or is it dead? Good question.
Yeah, obviously from that point, you can't respond via AI because it's sort of outside the 24-hour window. What we do is we send a bump message, and that bump message is a template. Obviously, we go into more detail in the training, but that bump message is a template that gets sent, and then assuming they reply to that, the 24-hour window renews and reopens, and then we get to send as many messages as we like.
Matthias has said, can you speak a bit slower? It's hard to understand.
I told you. I said at the start, there's a disclaimer, I speak too fast. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I will try and speak slower from now on.
Why not send a WhatsApp link that they can click on and message you first? Would that make the first message also free on WhatsApp?
Yeah. So we've done this before with a debt company. So we basically run it both ways. So if they send a message, they click on the link, like you said, and they then send the first message. So you can have that first message like embedded into the link, basically. So they click on the link and they say, "Oh, hi, I'm looking for some debt help." That comes in the GHL, and then we just respond off the back of that with AI. And then you don't need to send that first template.
What someone's just asked, what does the warm-up process look like? Can you just explain that?
Yeah, for sure. So again, this is all outlined in documentation, but basically what we do is we ensure some fundamentals. So we ensure that we've got the Meta business verified. We ensure that we do our due diligence with the data. We make sure we're not sending to any third-party data or like a data that's too old, because this is going to lead to high error rates basically. I also normally make sure the mobile numbers are live. We do this through something called a HLR check, but there is functionality inside HighLevel as well. Again, from that point, once you tick those boxes, we then move on to the actual ramp setup. So when we say ramp setup, we mean day zero. We start as just a couple of messages, normally to your own number or to someone back and forth, and then day one we get to sort of 3 or 6. Then we basically double it each day pretty much. Again, there is a lot of detail in the documentation that's going to help you with this. But as a rule of thumb, we start low and then we start doubling it, and then we get to 1,000 messages. When WhatsApp's seeing that you're getting a good engagement rate and people are responding and you're having conversations, then they start to up your limit basically. And that's how we basically, in short, that's how we got to 10,000 limit per 24 hours. So yeah, but again, in the documentation, there is a lot of detail that's going to give you the best chance of warming up effectively and getting to a 10,000 limit basically. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. Would you not charge them for the sales that you would make during the test, or on 1,000 to 3,000 leads? There could be lots of cash missed out on. Of course you charge them, Jack. You just agree what the charge is on a performance basis during the test. It's not like you do that for free. Okay. If you know the client's audience is more likely to convert on WhatsApp, do you still start with a test on Sleeping Beauty or the Roya Android? So basically what Seb's done here is just used Roya and moved it over to WhatsApp, right? So if you're in the UK, I would definitely be testing using WhatsApp instead of SMS because A, it's cheaper, and B, Seb just told us here that you can get a better reply rate in WhatsApp because when the WhatsApp comes through, it's like a verified tick box on the verified WhatsApp page, right? And there's some trust in some industries, right? That trust is important. Okay, so if you're not doing it already and you're in Roya, all of the training for this is inside Roya anyway. Okay, so you can go in and give it a go, but it's essentially the same thing as what we teach inside Roya. Okay. Okay, any questions? If we've collected their phone number, how do we know if they have WhatsApp?
Yeah, good question. So in HighLevel, there's basically a wait step that we wait for the number to basically have a WhatsApp or not. So if that message gets sent, then we know they have WhatsApp. If the message doesn't get sent, then we know that they don't have WhatsApp. Obviously, their phone could be off, but we go down the SMS route then. So yeah, we basically negate this in HighLevel.
Yep. Mitch just asked if you start with a landing page and capture for doc uploads in WhatsApp or US. So I'm thinking about putting some. Tammy, I think you're in Roya. I think you are. We're going to be putting together some training on this for how to do it via a landing page as well. But I would experiment with it, right? Like probably 20% of Americans have WhatsApp, right? I've got American friends that use WhatsApp, no problems. And what Seb explains, you can do WhatsApp or SMS, right? It doesn't matter. So I'd start experimenting regardless, if that makes sense. Okay. The messages. Right, Rob, just ask quickly what your background is, Seb, before you started doing AI.
Yeah, so in 2019, I started a digital media, which is a marketing company, lead generation company. My background is debt, so I sort of know a lot of guys in the debt space. I've sort of migrated into claims management as well, and we do a few other things. But so yeah, I started off as a lead gen, and then my thinking was I get a lot of not complaints, comments that conversion rates are fluctuating quite a lot week on week. So I was like, well, how can I create more of a stable conversion rate weekly for my clients? Started looking to AI, started to see Dan's content, put two and two together, joined Roya, got more engaged, got more into it, got more into the tech side of things, saw some great results inside Roya. And then, yeah, now I just live in my office doing Android builds all day and doing tech stuff. It's great, yeah.
Proper geek.
That's it, proper geek, mate. Just lock the door, no one disturb me.
Don't talk to me, no sun,
no,
just walk, just work.
That's it.
It's not healthy, by the way, man. Get some fresh air. All right. Where's some other questions?
Yeah, but so yeah, basically my background is that I have a good network. I mean, I've sold to probably 60% of debt companies and solvency practitioners in the UK. So we've done a lot of work over the last sort of 9 years now. So yeah, that's very much my niche. I am starting to branch out into other niches as well. And I think a big one is e-commerce. Actually, I've done a couple of those recently, and it's been pretty good on the abandoned cart stuff.
Yeah. Jack's just asked, Jack Goddard's on here. Nice, mate. Why do you start with SMS and not just why do you start with SMS and not just WhatsApp from the start? That's a very good question. I mean, I'm questioning whether you should just not use WhatsApp 100% of the time. So what do you think?
Yeah. So this is for the dot collection I assume you're referring to.
Right, okay.
So yeah, because obviously with WhatsApp, Android, we do start with WhatsApp, but with dot collection, we start with SMS. The reason for this is because it allows it to be a bit more plug and play. So we don't have to go through the WhatsApp warm up and ramp up. We can just go, look, you've got 5,000 records. Let's get images for you. You've got 10,000 records. let's get images for you. This is also then a great way to actually build your WhatsApp reputation, because when you switch over to WhatsApp, the customer's very engaged, so it's likely they're going to respond. So when they send you images and stuff via WhatsApp, that is basically boosting your reputation. And then from that point, you can then switch this on its head and then go full WhatsApp database reactivation document collection. But the reason why I start for SMS, it allows me to go right 5,000, 10,000 off the bat, no issues. I can go straight for it. That's why I start with SMS. But if you build your WhatsApp reputation to a reputable level, then yeah, by all means, do this with just straight from WhatsApp.
Yeah. There's a long question from Nick. He's in Germany, and he's trying to use WhatsApp, but the warm-up's not working. So we have got some training, and I'm not going to talk about it here today, really. But you'll be finding out. I'm going to email details of that tomorrow. Okay, but Nick, if you need help with all of that stuff, Seb's put some amazing stuff together. If I'm a business lawyer and I don't want to do this myself, how can I hire you guys to do this for my law firm? What's the best way? Seb Powdrill on my group, the AAA Ninjas. Yeah, you'll find him on there. Sam, I think I've seen you in the group, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm in that group. Yeah, I'm active in there.
Chris, I'm working about 5 clients using this model, AI plus SMS and DB are doing for all we SMS new leads who they couldn't book after 2 to 3 days. That's the 48-hour Android. That's clever. I built using Make Google Sheets and a custom portal. Sounds complicated, man. But if it's working, would you recommend using HighLevel as the backend to run this instead of Make? And I mean, dude, like if you haven't got HighLevel, like this just crushes like your custom solution. There's just so much more you can do. I think HighLevel can do more complex things. Bump this, no reply. It's just epic, man. I think you've answered your own question in that comment, to be honest with you. Is the best way to pitch this combining DBR with a document collection Android? Good question, Jack. So if it is a client who needs document collection, then I would pitch it with combine them too, both of them, sure. So you'd be doing it on the demo. You'd show them on the demo how it collects all the documents after the appointment's been made, right? So they're going to be absolutely blown away that you can generate them appointments or sales from their old leads. But then when you tell them you can do their documents as well, then boom, you know what I mean? Depends what feel like. Sometimes I like to hold things back, right? The clients you can sense when you're talking to them that they're just like, let's get started now, right? I want to keep document collection in my back pocket so I can upsell that to them in a week or something like that after they get started, right? And then you can charge for it out of the gate. But if they're like on the fence a little bit and you're not quite sure, and you feel in the pitch that you're losing them, then you can throw in the document collection too. That's the way I would do it. So is this better to use the direct WhatsApp integration at HighLevel and using HighLevel?
Yeah, so again, HighLevel is a third-party tool, automation tool. So go with the WhatsApp native direct integration. Your results will be better.
Gareth asks, do you tell the prospect you're chatting with AI or not? No, we don't at the moment. I don't think there's any regulations around it. Probably will be coming shortly. But no, we don't. How you going, Gareth? It's been a while. Seems like we have 2 use cases. One is document collection as part of the activation. 2 is doc collection after the sale. Do you do both? And are there others? Chip, there's just so much we can do, right? Like using when I was talking at the beginning of the webinar about how the big companies, the sales forces and all these guys can't help businesses in the way that we can, right? Because we can get in and we can help with like every single aspect of their business. We can help with their incoming calls by using voice AI. We can reactivate their database. We can collect documents. We can sort out their reviews. Like reviews is a big thing, right? Like some of these restaurants have like 5,000 reviews and lots of 1 stars coming in, we can use AI to respond to them intelligently. We can have a live chat on their website that works 24/7 and sends them to a sales page. We can do speed to lead. We can, I haven't even scratched the surface. Like each business, another example is, I did a call recently with one of my best mate in Sydney. He's a plastic surgeon, right? He has nurses after his surgery that goes back and forth with the patient for 6 months afterwards, right? Answering all of their questions. It's expensive, time consuming, the same questions asked over and over again. So we're building him a nurse, like a nurse AI, right? Which is going to do the same thing and free up a lot of the nurses' time to do stuff that they like and save them a ton of money and get better engagement. Like that's an example of just one thing, one client that has very bespoke things that they need, right? And at HighLevel, this hub that sits in the middle can do all it can just like sprout off and help business in so many different ways. It's just like incredible. All right. So when you're speaking to clients, right, we're just scratching on like some of the niches, solar and, debt and all these niches are everyone knows these niches, right? But the fact is that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of niches, and all of them have very different aspects to their business. Okay. And that's, if you can listen to their pain and find out what their pain is, that allows you to go in and then configure the solution for them, right? And that is always able to be done by HighLevel, and HighLevel will just keep on helping you like be able to solve these problems. And if they haven't got it, then ask them and they'll go build it for you. Do you know what I mean? That's why I get so excited about this. All right. Would you need to know what the client makes per leads document collection before you can drive a deal on a performance basis? They'll tell you how much a case is worth if you ask them, right? You can find out pretty easily. How do you avoid being blocked by Meta when sending so many WhatsApp messages? Do you need to abide by approved templates, opt-ins to initiate conversations and follow Meta rules, i.e. 24 window? Yeah, I mean, that's what Seb teaches and does, right? He's figured all of that out to be able to do 10,000 a day. All right. If a company needs multiple types of documents, how do you check which has been supplied and therefore which remains to be collected? Seb, I know you're not using AI to read the documents just yet, but like, we've got some training inside Roya, and it was more of an experiment type thing, right? But we're able to ask a client to upload their, like, for example, their ID and ask questions about maybe a mortgage statement or something like that. And it can go through, read the documents and then go and credit check the person to see if they're a good fit for, that mortgage or whatever that is, right? So AI is getting so good that it'll be able to read the documents. And then if it's not the right document, ask for that document back. I don't think Seb's probably gone into that detail yet, but like that's totally doable. Totally doable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, for me personally, I've been quite satisfied with this method just because once a client submitted those images, then you're the highest tier. So manual intervention from that point is not too bad because that lead's already worth a lot, and because the intent of the lead itself, I don't think manual intervention at that point is a bad thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Sometimes we get too carried away with the tech, right? And that's a big mistake to make, right? Like at that point in time, you should probably, and Seb's right, just trigger the client to call that lead, right? They've uploaded 3 documents, send a notification to the CRM to call this guy immediately and coach them through that, right? Because once you get them on the phone and they're hot and they've uploaded 3 documents, then that's at the point where you can close a sale easily. Does that make sense? Okay. Wow, I'm getting tired here. How are you reconciling with a client whether any deal is closed or you're doing 100% lead was just generated or engaged? So when you reactivate a lead, right? Like you can tag it in their CRM. Like, so when a lead comes back, like let's say you send 10,000 SMSs in a day, right? They give you that, they API that data over to you, or they send you a file, a CSV file, right? And when that lead is reactivated, you can tag that lead and send it back to their CRM as a SEB lead, right? Okay, so when that's a SEB lead and that converts into a sale, then SEB can go in at the end of each week, sort out all the leads by SEB and see which ones have closed into a sale and then create his invoice off the back of that. Or usually the client will tell him to invoice. That's the way it works. SEB, pretty accurate, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly that.
I think I'm running out of steam here.
Yeah, I need a coffee.
I'm running out of steam. Sam's asking if he can hire you. What's your email address, Sam? Just chuck it in the chat box if you want. Or Sam, probably. Yeah, well, you've got Sam's there. Sam,
Okay, so I'll drop you an email.
It's got I don't know what type of law that is, but that'd be exciting to see that happen from today's call. All right, guys. We've been going for an hour 40. I'm starting to lose energy. Got a call in 20 minutes. I'm gonna take a break. But I tell you what, Seb, that was awesome, man. Thank you,
Yeah,
much.
likewise.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone, thanks for coming up. It was good fun. I enjoyed it. I'll catch you later.
Okay, I hope you are blown away, because I certainly was when I heard the numbers that Seb's doing. And he does all of that stuff on a performance basis too, which means that, you know, he gets paid based on how well the AI performs. And because AI is like works 24/7, 365, and the cost is so low, he's just absolutely crushing it. As I said, there's a pay what you want offer below in the description box. Please do pick it up. It's some really good training, and especially if you've got lead gen clients, this is just a no-brainer for them. So I hope you enjoyed the call today and the recording with Seb. It was really great, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.